Full summer. How's everybody feeling? Fireflies. I don't know who that is. Fireflies, note taker. Um, all is well. Let's see who's here actually live. Is it just Courtney and Zadra? Zadra, are you coming on? Or are you gonna? Kristen's note taker twice. Maybe Kristen, are you on as well? I'd love to see your faces if you're here, just so I can get an idea. There are so many note takers and some that I don't recognize. So Um, if you're here, I'd love to see your face. And I'll give everybody just a minute or two, just a couple of seconds to do that. What a big day yesterday, 777. Big energy. Oh, Erica. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Court. Great. Okay. Perfect. Well, welcome Erica's note taker and Kristen's note taker. And Zadra, we're not sure, but Courtney, for you and I, at least we're both here right now, face to face, which feels good. So let's do some personal time here. How are you feeling with the energy of yesterday and this morning waking up, Court?
I slept really well last night. For me, not so much 7-7, but yesterday was big because Uranus entered Gemini, which is the final outer planet ingress. So we've had every single outer planet change signs, which that hasn't happened since the 1700s. And that was the final one, and it happened yesterday. So that felt like a lot for me. And it's very like electric buzzy energy for me. So I just
Okay.
yesterday I was very melancholy would be the word I would use.
Okay, melancholy. Yeah, I worked with the 777 portal. I really have found massive um gosh, just like big things happen. I did it last year for the Lion Gate portal on 888. And this year that 777 portal called to me. And I worked with it yesterday and it felt like such a clearing that I've needed and felt like had been kind of like bubbling up to the surface, for quite some time. So um, having 4 deaths, CJ, Christina's puppy, well, dog, not a puppy, yesterday being the fourth of those, just really felt like it brought it all to a peak. So yeah, there was a big exhale at the end of the day and ritual and sitting with that. And I just feel like I woke up this morning literally like, okay, so can there be some rebirth? Is it time for renewal? Is it an opportunity to move into something new? And I understand the way that this energy works, right? There's never any like final completion where it feels like it's just a clean cut or a ripping off of a band-aid and moving forward. There's always some things lingering as the new thing starts to build. So I'm excited to talk about today this serpent energy and the snake, the year of the snake in Chinese astrology, um, and let everyone share a little bit about what are some of the things that we're releasing and letting go of, and themes that have come up around that release, around that letting go, or lessons that have been learned about that. So you can kind of tuck that away for a minute, but know that we'll come back to that. So let's start off by dropping in and just becoming fully present right here, right now. When you're ready, I invite you to put down anything that you might be holding in your hand. You can uncross your legs, get really, really comfortable in your seat, and just start to breathe. Just let out a big exhale, sigh it all out, any energy, anything from any moment before right now. Could it be this morning, yesterday, the summer, this year, anything that you might be holding on to energetically or subconsciously even. I just invite you to give yourself permission to breathe that out on the exhale and let it go. As you inhale, bringing in new intention, new energy. And as you exhale again, just remembering that you can just continue to soften and settle into the seat, feeling your sits bones in your chair. Feel that pelvic floor rooted, really grounded. You might want to imagine a red light or the color red swirling at the base of your spine. Just notice that heaviness, that grounding weight, that energy that's holding you, gravity literally pulling you, tethering you to the earth. And give some gratitude to Mother Earth, Gaia, for all that she holds and for holding us with gravity here. And as you take your next inhale, I want you to expand your lungs, expand your ribs. Think about expanding your back body. And when you exhale, squeeze it all out. Bring that all the way into your belly, just exhaling and squeezing out the air. And then when you inhale, a big expansion again, as your ribs are expanding and that back body is expanding, filling up your entire body with oxygen and energy, this life force energy, as you're breathing in and breathing out. Become aware of any sounds you might hear. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Any sensations that you feel in your body, just notice. I invite you to do a body scan from the tip of your head all the way down, taking your time scanning your physical body. And just notice, how does your physical body feel? Are there any places that feel tight or stuck? Just allow all your attention to come into your physical body, feeling any sensations, any tightness. And on a scale of 0 to 10, if you were to rank how your physical body is feeling in this moment, a 0 would be very painful. You probably wouldn't be on this call. And a 10 would be the best that you've ever remembered feeling in your life. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how are you feeling physically? And once you have that number, just hold on to it and bring your attention to your mind. Notice your thoughts. How fast are they or slow? Is your mind busy? Do you have racing thoughts? Or is it pretty quiet up there? Noticing thoughts like clouds just passing by, or maybe becoming almost hypnotized by my voice. On a scale of 0 to 10, notice mentally how many or how little, how much is happening in your mind. A 0 would be not a lot of, would be that there's not a lot going on at all. And 10 would be that there's a lot of racing thoughts. So just notice. And now shift out of your mind and into your heart space. Notice your heart beating. Notice the texture of your heart. Does it feel soft? Does it feel hard? Is there any pain or grief in your heart? Or does it feel light and joyful? All emotions are welcome here. Just notice, how's your heart? Does it feel tender or strong? And I invite you to breathe into your heart space. And as you do, expand the space behind your heart. Open up and soften behind your heart. With every inhale, making more space and more room around your heart. And see if you can bring in love and compassion. And a little more softness. And as you breathe that air in and expand your heart, on the exhale, I want you to move your attention into your belly, into your sacral, your womb space. Also, where you might be connected to your intuition, might also be your third eye. But go to that place within you that connects to your spiritual body, your intuition, your knowing. And reconnect with your spiritual body. And ask yourself, what do you need, sweetheart? What do you need? And what else? Allow yourself to go a little bit deeper in asking what else. And now I want you to envision yourself giving that to yourself. And notice how you feel. And notice where you feel that in your body. And continue to notice how it feels for you to give yourself the thing that you need. And on your next inhale, I want you to bring that into your heart space and feel more love and self-compassion. Receive self-love. Take another inhale, and on your exhale, soften your shoulders away from your ears. And imagine a string pulling the top of your head so that your spine gets long. Feeling grounded and rooted in your sits bones. your root. Open up the crown of your head and let light pour in from above, from Source, your Creator. And just feel what it feels like to be soothed by that bright light. It might feel warm, it might feel cool, it might feel expansive or soft. Whatever it is that you need from source energy, opening up your crown, the very top of your head, allow that to pour into you and nourish you. And use your visualization in your mind to imagine it pouring into every cell of your body. See if you can harness your mind to work for you and visualize every cell of your body being infused with source energy. Making sure that you get the tips of your fingers and your toes, the edges of your skin. Notice if you feel any warmth or tingling or buzzing in your body. See if you can tune into the frequency of unconditional love. And on that next inhale, you can close off your crown and give gratitude for that energy that's infused in your body. And bring your chin down to your chest, stretching the back of your neck so that when you open your eyes, you're looking at your physical body. You can take your time blinking open your eyes when you're ready. And if you have a pen and paper, I'd like for you to write down what you experienced. We checked in with your physical body, how you're feeling on a scale of 0 to 10. Also, your mental body. Connected with your heart space and what was happening in your heart. And asking yourself, what do you need, sweetheart? And then taking that deeper by asking, what else? We'll take about 60 more seconds for you to write down any bullet points or additional thoughts that might have come. Okay, and just about 10 more seconds there, wrapping it up. And I want to have you share any part of that. There's lots of ways you could go and lots of things that you could share, but just something that felt like it was meaningful or significant for you.
Thing
Right.
isn't light and airy and fuzzy,
Okay.
but it's the truth. I felt anger and rage and resistance, like soul deep temper tantrum. I envisioned knocking stuff off my desk, breaking things. It took quite a bit of this softness to gentle my spirit, and it came around, what do you need? And what I need is to go and to act and to do and to work and to show up and to record and to take chances and to be brave and to fail and get scared and be excited. Like I want the jumping out of the plane, the bungee jumping, the parachuting. I want that feeling. And so the part of myself that was talking to the part of me that needed something said, okay, let's go. Let's do it. And then the energy was able to calm down. But it was a good long time of just anger.
Mm. Thank you, Zadra. You know, I love it when you keep your video on because when I'm guiding you through a meditation, I can watch and I could visually tell that you were like uncomfortable. You kept moving, you kept adjusting. There was like, so I love you sharing this because the language to what was happening, this discomfort. I often say, and have been saying this and repeating this many times this week, that anger is an action emotion. Anxiety is also. Anger and anxiety are, it's like, I need to do something. Something, I gotta like move. Like anger is like, you gotta move, you gotta do something. That fire, that fierceness, that thing is like, it's time to go. Like something's gotta happen, some kind of action. So I love that you said that. And as you said, we gotta go. It's time, like it's time to move, it's time to go. And how that started to shift that a little bit. It's like, okay, so exactly, so what will you do? And how can you create action? How can you give yourself some actionable things? And I invite you to just, you don't have to know the destination and exactly where you're going, but you can tune in with yourself every day, every moment, and just ask yourself, what's next? What's next? What's next? And that's you bringing in your intuition and bringing in that regularly checking in with you and like how to navigate that action instead of feeling like you got to have it all figured out. I think a lot of times we don't start because it's like, well, I don't even know what the I don't even know what the steps are. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. And this is where the intuition of the feminine can really work to your advantage. So, yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that energy. There's a lot of it. And I feel it in my own body, and I felt it in the collective. So I appreciate you reflecting that back too. Thank you, Zadra.
Yeah, so what was really clear was I slept really good last night, like the best I've slept in a long time. So that was nice. But then when I was asking my body what it needed or wanted, or, what do you need, sweetheart? It was movement, right? Like stretching, right? Like after you've slept, I slept hard, right? Like did not move. So it was stretching. But then when I took it deeper, it's really interesting because it went from movement to like movement from a place of self-love, movement from a place of self-acknowledgement. And then it went, and this is similar to same, but different than Zadra's. Then it went to just enjoying, and these were the words, the humanness of it all.
Mm.
And then it was like ended in enjoying all of it. And this has been this has maybe been one of my messages this entire year, is I feel like so often in spiritual spaces,
Mm.
it's been manipulated into it's only when it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And I just reject that in its entirety. In fact, I remember years and years and years ago, Kate, we had a friend that told us that the purpose of this all was to transcend being human.
Mm.
And it like, my body rejected it at the time, but I didn't have that awareness.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And so like for my body to just be like, all of it,
Yeah.
all of it, the anger, the back that's like sore, the, you know, the body that's craving sugar, like,
Yes.
anyways. So
Yeah.
that was the deepening.
Yes. Gosh. Thank you for sharing that too, Courtney, so much. And I love that you brought this up with like all just, of course, we don't want to feel the feelings that are unpleasant, right? Of course, we feel like if we're angry, oh, we're not Zen enough, right? I'm not doing enough meditation. I'm not, there's something wrong with that. Oh, if I'm feeling anything other than like this Zen is what I'm going to call it, then I must not be practicing my spirituality enough. And we are human beings. We literally are spiritual beings, but we are here in the 3D having a human experience. And how often are we so uncomfortable with our humanness that we want to make it stop or get out of it, which is really spiritual bypassing. And there's this fine line between learning about how to, calm our mind and calm our nervous system and navigate through life in a way that feels spiritual, and we're always seeking pleasure and excitement and joy um and and to like hurry and move through or get out of or not feel the weight, the depth, the rage, the disappointment, the anger, the whatever it is. And we, especially this year, it has been so potent for me, so potent. And I know it's because I'm very aware of serpent energy. I've worked with a lot of snake energy, and we have to go through the discomfort of the clearing, of the shedding, of the releasing, of the literal death itself. The body dying, to then have the renewal, the rebirth, the joy, the excitement, the pleasure. They're both. And it's not always 50-50, but I mean, heads and tails is about a 50-50, right? It's a coin toss. But yet, aren't we so in a space where it's like, no, I want the joy and the pleasure 80% of the time, minimum. But yet there's this, I hear this acknowledgement of that isn't what's up right now. There are these other energies up that are like, oh, and it doesn't feel convenient. And it's not the joy and the pleasure and the thing, and yet it is this part of the process that will create on the other side of it a bigger pendulum swing of the joy, the excitement. It will be richer, it will be deeper. I was on a walk with a girlfriend a couple of days ago, and we were talking about life when we were just kind of always between like a 4 and a 6, just kind of always there. It was like, didn't want to take big risks. We were both married, we were both in religion, we were both just like, it was good enough, right? Like it was good enough. Like there wasn't a lot of like, there weren't high highs, but there weren't low lows. And I think about this often with like any depression medicine or anti-anxiety. Again, you both know my background, and anyone listening here, there's nothing that I know medically, just other than the experience that I've had and people that I've worked with and clients. And my mom specifically was probably my greatest teacher growing up around depression medicine. And she just kind of stopped feeling it all. And it wasn't until a psilocybin experience that she had with me that we prepared her by getting off of these depression medicines that she felt again. And I watched her, the laughing and the joy. It was so palpable that I was laughing with her. Like I couldn't not laugh. When someone is feeling that much joy, it's like palpable. It was that. And then it would go into the deepest, her mouth, the frown on her face, into this deep, deep pit of despair. I mean, it was tangible. And it was this roller coaster of highs and lows and highs and lows. And witnessing that was such a lesson of this is how to fully live life. We will never get the most joy, the tens, right? We're never going to get the tens of joy if we don't get the tens of pain, anger, frustration. So, what a great reminder that we're not doing anything wrong. We don't need to fix anything. There's nothing to be fixed because nothing is broken. None of us are broken. And the truth is, we're all good enough. We don't even need any more growth and expansion and personal development. Now, we're all here because we all can't stop and we can't help ourselves because it's who we be, right? It's like who we be. It's evolvement, and it's part of our values. We all have some kind of like learner growth development in our values. So we're here for it. We're not going to be stagnant, and we can just sit with it for a little bit and just be in it. Just be in it. I want to talk about, and I want you to, if you don't already know, I'm going to give you an opportunity to either write a little bit or to just meditate, close your eyes, and really just like sit with this. What is something, a theme, or what is something, a lesson, something that's coming up around death, around finality of something, the ending, closure, putting something to rest? What is something in your life that you have been witnessing, experiencing, noticing around that clearing or that the death of something, the ending of something, the completion of something, the finality? And you might already know, and that's fine if you do. Let's talk about it. But I want to give you, just about a minute or so. If you feel ready, raise your hand. We'll just go for it. But if you want a little bit of time to take, if you haven't already been aware of this, What's coming up for you? We'll take about 30 more seconds here and just see if you can find some themes or something that continues to pop up here when it comes to this cleansing or this shedding, if you will, this serpent energy. I like to think of the visual of the serpent, right? This snake, this that's always connected to mother, by the way. The serpent is the only animal that is always connected to Mother Earth, to Earth. The belly of the snake is always, if it's on a tree, in a tree, the ground, a rock, always belly, always connected. And you think about the shedding of its skin, right? And how it starts to get dry and flaky and the color isn't as vibrant, right? It's dull and it's just old. It's just, it is. And it happens slowly, right? It's not like a quick thing. The head starts to shed and as it's slithering and moving, that skin is moving down, but it takes a while. And you think about the very end of the tail, right? You're like, the vision is clear, you see clearly. It's like the vibrancy is coming, it's on the other part of the body of the snake, but there's still that like piece on the end, on the tail, that's just like takes a little bit longer to wiggle out of it. You got to really like work to get that last little end off. I'd like to hear what that feels like for you. What is that? What is that? That just that ending thing or that thing that you're feeling like I'm really ready. I'm ready to shed this or let this go or I'm really in it still and it's really like I'm stirring in it a little bit. It's part of that. What's up for you?
It's interesting that you say the last little bit because what came up for me is it feels like a lifetime's lesson. So I don't know if
Mm,
I don't know if it's a last little bit.
okay.
I think it would be presumptuous for me to say that.
For you personally. Okay, what is the thing? What is that theme? That
It
life
feels
theme?
like it's like like it's just like this is, I think we all have those sort of things that are
Mhm.
like lifetime lessons. You might get better, but they just are kind of just part of your makeup.
Uh-huh.
And when I'm trying to think of how you phrased it in the beginning, but you said, anyways, I can't remember the question you asked, but when you asked the question, the word freedom came right to my mind. And then I asked myself, like, because freedom for me is a big lifetime theme, right? But I asked freedom from what? And then what I wrote was just the imaginary, the imaginary chains of others' expectations and opinions. Like that, and then it came back to what I had, we had done in the meditation, and it was to enjoy my life for my life and not make the choices based on the imaginary
Yes.
chain. Anyways, this is, caring too much about what other people think and it was interesting because I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was a therapist who I really admire. And she said, listen, we don't want to be non-people pleasers because that's like sociopaths. And I really appreciated that she was so honest. Like,
Yes.
I think we just so love this binary, like, I'm never going to people please again, or I'm,
Mhm.
you know, which you don't want that either, right? But anyways, so for me, that's what came up.
Thank you, Court. I love that you use the word imaginary more than once. These imaginary chains, these like the thing that we're making up, right? Like the imaginary stories or the whatever it is that we're imagining. And this journey of life of you really navigating like what's actually even true and what's not, and like what chains actually am I putting there that aren't even really being put there by anyone else. I don't know if you study Kabbalah or have heard of Kabbalah very much, but there's a theory in Kabbalah called your tikkun. Your tikkun is that life lesson. It's that thing that you came here to learn, right? It's like the theme that comes up over and over and over again. And I love that you said it's a lifetime for me, because how like does that feel when you're like, you know what? It's just going to be the whole life, and I'm just going to surrender to it not going away, and I'm going to fully accept that it's just part of my life, and it's going to pop up and show up, and I'll get better at it and I'll move through it faster, but I'm not expecting it to go away. Like, I'm not expecting to wake up one day and be like, I did it. I mean, that's the life. That's the journey. That's the life thing. That's like, you know, perhaps when we die, maybe. I mean, who knows? But that I can imagine that there must have been some kind of like or like relief, or this feeling of like just accepting that this is my life. Like this is how it is. So Courtney, what do you do? How do you navigate that? So when one of these things comes up, right? I mean, do you feel like you're in a place that you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm here again still?" Or do you feel like you've gotten to a place in your life that you can say, "Okay, here we go again. I've got my tools. I've done this before. Um, I just get to refine it and do it again." And just like, does it feel like, yeah, like I just love to know like what kind of your process is, or what happens within you when it's like, oh yeah, here it is again.
Yeah, I mean, I have way more awareness around it than I
Mhm.
did. I don't know. So, and I'm of the belief that everything's an awareness game, because when you have awareness, you can shift.
Mhm.
But um I think what's coming up is that when I choose not to do something that I want, or that I like felt excited about, right? Then questioning why I'm not doing it, or what's in the
Mhm.
way, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So what I hear you saying is maybe your default, or what your thing has been, to withhold or not give yourself something or say no, or like, and then you're noticing, wait, why do I do that? Why did I not do that? And then peeling back the layers in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one, and I believe that's a thing for most females, I'll say, just from society, just reading and just human behavior and culture and all those things of how even other women reinforce in women like, oh my gosh, you do it all yourself. Like, look at you doing all this. Like, gosh, look at, like, look at all you do and look at you just handle everything on your own. And there's just a lot of that doing masculine energy that we're so good at, like give, do. And how uncomfortable can it feel to just say, I'm going to receive or give myself that? I'm actually going to give myself the thing that I so freely or easily give to everyone else. Or I'm going to say yes and just receive this thing that's been offered and not get all in a way about like telling myself all the reasons why, well, not right now, or I can't, or
Or
whatever.
or even for me, it's just like it's not even sometimes it doesn't even involve other people. That's why it's like imaginary chains. It's like
Mhm.
I want to do this thing. I have the time, I have the space, I have the know-how, and I stop because it's like, oh, what will someone else think if I do that? Right. And so
Mm,
it's like not even input. So it literally is just within my
mhm,
own head.
mm,
And it's that continual recognition of stopping sometimes, and I'm specifically thinking in like creative endeavors, my own creative flow because of that.
mm. Yeah, beautiful awareness. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Sadra, what came up for you?
Well, I love the two of you. I love being in this container with you guys. You reflect me back to me in ways that are so validating.
Mm.
I have a bunch of things. I'm going to try to bullet point them. Um, one of my highest values is freedom and victory.
Love it.
And Courtney, something you said jogged a poem in me, which I wrote down, but I'll give you context for it. Kate, you have your golden angel wings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I pulled a muscle in my back a long time ago. And when I went to my physical therapist, he would like touch me on my like where my scapulas are because he wanted me to like realign myself. And I kept doing the thing, right? And he's like, not your shoulders, your actual. And so, I trained myself to simply move those. I mean, you can't see them, but to move the muscles in the back with
Mm-hmm.
moving the shoulders and without moving the rib cage, but to actually. And the way I cognitized that is I envisioned those angel wings, and I would tell myself, I do it daily. I do it when I'm tight. I do it when I'm hunched over. I do it when my back hurts, but I also do it when I'm holding space for people or when I'm being worked up, but then I'm coaching and I tell myself, put on your angel wings.
Mm.
And then I envision that. And then I'm actually able to like breathe through that. Right. Which brings me to the poem, which I wrote. You put me contained in a human body to truly experience freedom, and as a punishment for craving and desiring it. So it's like, those stories when a kid is caught smoking and then his dad's like, fine, you want to smoke? Smoke a whole pack. That's why I'm in a human body right now, because I really wanted to know what it was like. And they're like, fine, you want to know? Here you go. But also, this is what freedom is going to feel like. So I don't know what to do with that. It tickled me because like I'm not mad at it. I'm like, it's kind of what Courtney was saying earlier is like we're here to experience all of it. All of it. That's been a theme for me for this last week or month. The good and the bad and the allowing and the unlearning and the finding out, where the indoctrines came from, the witch wound and the patriarchy and the upbringing and the things that I made it mean and all that. That's what I'm unwinding right now in this season.
Mm-hmm.
So that came up for me a lot. And then the last thing I wrote, and I think this goes back to something Kate said, but also what Courtney said, and also what I am learning. And it's like I feel it tender. You can receive without repaying it. Because I let myself receive, but then there's always like a reciprocal expectation in my brain, like, and then I have to give back, or it's transactional, or what am I going to do for them? And, and this idea that I'm allowed to receive and only receive, that it, I don't, I don't believe it, but I believe it, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's coming up for me in this next season, is to learn how to simply absorb and take and accept what's given and not feel an obligation to do something with that.
I love that. That's like truly receiving, right? And then feeling that discomfort of like not so quickly moving back into that give. Okay, now this feels uncomfortable to just sit here with all of this and just receive. So like satiating in that, like really like not just receiving it, but like fully receiving it. Yeah, that's powerful. I'm going to invite you all to give yourself, your physical body, some extra love. Okay. That could be, Courtney, I love that you said like moving your body, stretching, moving it. I'm going to also suggest like dry brushing, lathering your body in coconut oil or moisture, just like summertime, like just exfoliate your skin. This is very serpent energy, right? This like shedding, this exfoliation, this kind of like just scrub your skin. Maybe it's a salt bath, maybe it's a foot scrub, maybe it's a dry brush, just some way of just like really um loving your entire organ of your skin. Your largest organ of your body is your skin. And so I want you to just think about a way that you could nourish that. Um, and as you're putting lotion on, as you're putting coconut oil, whatever it is, I just want to invite you to slow down a little bit and like really look at your skin and like rub that moisture on your skin and like take your time. Take your time. And I want you to touch the parts of your body that you don't love as much. And I'm just going to talk about my own personal thing right now because that's what I know for sure. And so a lot of times as I'm starting to notice like a lot of cellulite that I haven't had before, the elasticity in my skin is changing. I'm looking at even my quads and I'm just like things are looking different. Like I'm doing the same things I've done my whole life and maybe even more. My body's not responding the same. And I notice that I find myself not wanting to engage with those parts of my body as much. So I'm just going to invite you to spend a little bit more time there. Spend a little bit more time rubbing your thighs spend a little bit more time. And if you're stretching court and you're not using any moisturizer, but you're just kind of like in the stretch and kind of like rubbing your legs while you're in the stretch, just kind of encouraging that or whatever it is, you're going to intuitively know how and what this looks like for you. But I want to invite you to be really intentional about giving your physical body love with your hands, and whatever that might look like, and allow it to really just like ground you into the humanness of like, this is being human. Like, here we are, and this body is getting me and moving me through this experience. So my brain and my mind can have all of these different experiences and stories and process and all the different things, right? And just more appreciation, more love for the physical body, for the physical body. Um, are you both clear on an action or one thing that you're going to do today moving forward? Okay, great. Um, I invite you to do that. And also with just a little bit more time and thought, I love Courtney. And if you want to give a little bit more, you gave really beautiful insight when we first got on about these different planets. But if there's like a specific, like if you were to like dumb that down and like, what does that mean for a journaling prompt? Or like, what is a way that we could work with that really powerful, potent energy right now through some kind of like journaling, right? Some kind of process.
It's not dissimilar to what we've been talking about, and Zadra and I's word of freedom, but Uranus entering Gemini, Uranus is the planet of revolution, of change, of quick change.
Mm,
But the journal prompt I would give is, where do I seek liberation in
there
my
you go.
life?
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, where do I seek liberation? And this reminder, right, of like what is required for liberation. Again, does it require a cleansing, a clearing, making room for something? My belief in what I've studied, especially over the last 2 years, is that everything that I've found, everything has a clearing before there's something new. Everything, all of it. I've seen it in literal creating an idea or wanting to, you know, complete a business or complete a career or complete a thing, that there's not just this automatic, oh, well, that's over and I'm going to start the new thing today. There's a lot wrapped into that. It takes time. There has to be a clearing. There has to be a shedding. It's usually physical. It's also mental. It's also emotional and spiritual. So on all four bodies, thinking about these things, not just from a mental space or like maybe this purging of an emotion, but I want you to even think about on all four layers of the body liberation, what is required for liberation, and what would you need to clear and let go of and cleanse? It might be a thought pattern, might be a behavior, might be that you need to like purge some emotion, whatever it might be. And then that liberation, yeah, like what does that feel like? What is that new? What does that feel like? Like what does that look like? A guided visualization meditation in the morning could be fantastic too. I've shared a couple of these on different platforms. Joe Dispenza has one in the morning that's really, really awesome. And I love that. You might have another one that you love, but really taking this potent time with the planets and with this 7-7 portal and just the energy of this serpent energy for this year. We're about halfway through the year, which again, my very structured mind likes to go, well, we're 50%, we're in the middle, which is not what's real, right? I just said this doesn't work this way, but I'd like to at least think that I've stepped over the line into, okay, now there's some of that new or maybe more of the new coming in over this last, these last 6 months. The old will still be there, but if I could start to shift and bring in more of that new energy, what would that look like? So getting really clear, being really intentional, journaling, meditating, connect with your body, move your body, touch your body, touch your body. There are parts of your body you have not physically touched. I can guarantee it, and probably maybe a week, maybe longer. Find a ritual, make it sacred, light a candle, speak kindly to yourself, and practice deep self-love and compassion. Thank you, girls. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. See ya. Bye.